I got you to click. But no, this is 100% true. It's not clickbait. The title, everything in the video, 100% valid. I literally just got my account reinstated. So I did have my account suspended yesterday. It was a long, arduous, annoying process. We're going to talk about it all right here, right now. So this is first and foremost a good learning experience for all my retail arbitrage and my online arbitrage sellers out there. It's a big, something that I've been talking about a lot recently because it's a really good opportunity to make money online. Now, this is you're fully allowed to do what you're doing, and what I was teaching is 100% valid. So first and foremost, don't get any pause with this. I'm going to talk about how you can protect yourself and the mistake that I made so that you don't make it. And that's why you watch this channel. That's why you're subscribed, so that you can not only learn the methods and business models that I use to make money online, but also when I make a mistake, you can learn from it so you don't have to make that mistake as well. Now, first and foremost, I'm just going to take you through the entire timeline, but like I said, it's a good learning experience. Now, for those of you that are here, for specifically the Amazon suspension, because I know, if you're searching for it, I was in your position, so I get it. I get how it feels, and I get, what you're looking for. Essentially, you're looking for a good plan of action. I'm going to talk about that all right here, right now, and why this works. Now, why I was suspended first and foremost. We're going to get through this step by step. So, yesterday, it was probably. First and foremost, if you watch yesterday's video, I was a little strung out because I hadn't slept much. So go back and watch yesterday's video because it's absolutely hilarious. I'm literally like skitzing out on coffee and I can barely talk. So that's a little funny first and foremost. But I hadn't got much sleep because I woke up about 3 in the morning yesterday to I checked my Amazon seller account, as I do often when, I can't sleep, and I noticed that there wasn't an account balance there, and I thought that's kind of shady. So then I logged into my Amazon seller account and realized that I hadn't received the email yet, but that my account had actually been suspended. So I woke up to this: hello, you currently may not sell on Amazon.com because we receive complaints about the authenticity of items at the end of this email. Funds will not be transferred to you, blah, blah, blah. You get the picture. Now, you're either in one of 2 boats if you're watching this. Well, maybe 3. Maybe you just, you follow the personal brand and you support me, and I greatly appreciate that. But the majority of you that are going to watch this video in its entirety are either, Amazon arbitrage students, that I'm teaching. And if you want to make money with that business model, link in the description. First link, still 100% valid. Just make sure that you watch this video so that you don't make this mistake. It's very, very simple to avoid. It's very, very simple to, get through, but just something that I didn't necessarily understand, when I was doing it, but you should be able to avoid if you listen to what I'm saying. It's very, very simple. It's not a big deal. So, or you're in the second boat, which is your account got suspended for an authenticity complaint, inauthentic products, and you're here to get the plan of action. Both of those, I'm going to answer both of them in depth. But like I said, first, and then realized my account was suspended. So I got to work figuring out, what happened? What exactly happened? Well, long story short, there was 3, as you can see at the bottom of this email, 3 ASINs that I listed that people purchased from me that reported inauthentic, products. Now, inauthentic is different than, what's the other word? Inauthentic's different than counterfeit. So they're 2 completely different claims. So inauthentic products could be for a number of different reasons, to my knowledge. I've been researching this in depth for the past day. So inauthentic basically could be it could be a number of things, but the majority of people that get inauthentic claims are either a competitor, which we're going to talk about in a minute, or a competitor reporting inauthentic and knowing full well that it's not inauthentic just to get your account, reviewed or suspended or whatever. Or it's a buyer that might have, commented. If, for example, if a buyer put a review up and was like, "This is a great product," but it's not. I actually purchased a counterfeit or an inauthentic version of this product, a knockoff, but this product is actually great, and they review you 5 stars. That could sometimes be enough for the algorithm to trigger a suspension or a review of your account for inauthentic. I don't know what that word that I just said was. Inauthentic products, and it can be that simple. So there could be a number of different reasons. Don't panic. I get where you're coming from. It was not a good reason for me, a good way for me to wake up, and I'm sure you didn't enjoy it when you got your account suspended if you're watching this, and you did. I woke up, and if you know anything about me or my income streams, Amazon's a good number. Now I have 2 Amazon accounts, so it wasn't that big of a deal. One for private labeling and this RA one. But it's still about $4 to $5 grand worth of my income every single month, at least, profit-wise, that, I woke up and was just completely gone. So it was not a good feeling. I get, I'm in the same boat as you. I get it. But we're going to move on real fast. So the 3 ASINs that I got suspended for were inauthentic complaints. Now, 2 of these ASINs were actually this right here, which is Anora Skincare, which I purchased, and the profit margin on this was ridiculous. It was like $75, and I bought 5 of them a piece, I think. So you can do the math there. Basically online arbitrage. And this person actually shot me. I'm not going to go through the entire proof on how I figured out that it's basically my competitor. A couple of things that you're going to want to keep in mind before we get my other Amazon sellers that have been suspended. For my RA people and my online arbitrage people that are doing this, even if somebody claims inauthentic, what's going to happen is Amazon's going to send you something like this right here. And it's going to say, we have removed your listings because of buyer complaint about the authenticity of the items. So they're not basically, and this is where I went wrong, they're not asking for an invoice, but they're basically saying they removed your listings. So I would see this in the past, and I do so many different items that I didn't think this was a big deal. If they ever requested an invoice from me, somebody was basically saying, oh, he doesn't have authorization to sell that product, or he's not allowed, Amazon would request an invoice from me, and I would obviously give that to them right away, because I always say keep your invoices. And so if for whatever reason, I didn't think that this was a big deal, I literally just scanned the email and was like, they removed my listing. All right, whatever. I don't care that much. It's not that big of a deal. It's one item. I have 200 more in my inventory that are all making me great money. I'm not that concerned about it. But what I didn't realize is by not sending them my invoice and not responding to this, they basically saw me as, shady, and that I was indeed selling inauthentic products because I didn't respond with an invoice proof of purchase that I did get it, from a reputable place, and I actually had the items that I was claiming that I was selling. So keep that in mind. If you get one of these, not just if they request an invoice from you, but if you get one of these that say they removed your listings about an authenticity complaint, make sure that you respond with the invoice immediately, so they don't think that you're not, that you're selling something that you're selling something that you should not be selling. But that's basically where I went wrong. So I didn't respond to any of these emails. There's been about 5 of them, and I cleared that all up now. And I didn't respond to any of them with any invoices because they didn't specifically request them from me. So I just didn't, put 2 and 2 together. I didn't think it was a big deal. And that's why they ended up suspending my account. So we're going to take you through that entire process. But basically right here, this was a competitor that bought these. He bought it 3 different times. He bought the same product 3 different times, both ASINs, and every single time filed an inauthentic complaint. I don't know how Amazon doesn't see that, but something that we're going to talk about in depth in a second is the fact that when you deal with Amazon, you deal with a human being. You're not dealing with this Amazon corporation that's out to get you. And they don't honestly care about, Amazon's a guilty until proven innocent type of marketplace. So if you go to them with a sob story basically saying, my competitor's doing this, my competitor's doing that, they're not necessarily going to care most of the time. They want you to figure it out and come up with the proof. So it's very professional. I get that you might want to respond to some of these things if you do get suspended, or you do get your listing removed with, some vitriol or some emotion. But take a couple deep breaths, take an hour to cool down, and then respond professionally, because that's not going to help you. You have to remember that you're dealing with a human being, most likely in India, on the other side of the computer when you're emailing or you're calling. And you want to make sure that you keep it professional so that they, first impressions mean everything. And you want to come off professional so they think that you're, they realize that you're a reputable business person. I swear I got sleep today. I don't know why I can't talk. But that's basically it. So make sure, first and foremost, that you respond with invoices when you get something like this. Authenticity complaint is not the same as being suspended for inauthentic products, but if you get a couple authenticity complaints and you don't respond with the invoice, it's going to lead to your account suspension, which is where we are right now. Now the other one, the first 2 I believe were the Anoras. Checked into them. Like I said, competitor reported. The third one was actually my fault. And another thing to keep in mind when you're doing online arbitrage is make sure that if, for a specific example, this keyboard that I have right here, this is a bad example. I don't know what this. Let's go with this right here. So this is something, I have a million of these, but this is basically just like a notebook, right? Well, if this notebook, somebody was selling this notebook on Amazon and they had, a bunch of different variations of this. They had a blue cover notebook, they had a green cover notebook, they had a teal color notebook. It's very easy when you're listing products on online arbitrage that you bought from Amazon to list it under the wrong variation. So make sure that you're listing it under the right variation, because the parent ASIN is going to be the same when you go to add it. Each specific ASIN underneath that is going to be different depending on the color or the variation. So keep that in mind. That's where I went wrong with the third one. I listed it. It was the right product, but it was just under the wrong ASIN, underneath that, because I listed it under the wrong variation. So when somebody bought, I believe it was like a flare kit or something like that, if I remember correctly, and I listed it under the green case flare kit instead of the blue case or the black case flare kit by accident, not even thinking about it, just kind of going through it really fast. And that's why I don't think it was my competitor in this specific example. I think it was just somebody that reported me as inauthentic because they didn't get what they expected. Totally understandable, but that's where I went wrong with all three of these. So two of them were competitors just being a complete dickhead, and the other one was, my mistake on purpose, or not on purpose, it was just a common accident. So this is the one that I woke up to at like 3 a.m. It was, you currently cannot sell on Amazon. Then I went back and forth with them about 4 or 5 different plans of action until I finally came up with the exact right one that they accepted. I'm going to give that to you in here in a second. So I kept getting, we still need more information. Your plan does not sufficiently address the complaints. Your plan does not sufficiently address the complaints. You may sell. Finally, I got it reinstated. 5 hours. It says 5 hours ago. It was probably this morning sometime. I woke up to a reinstatement after finally going back and forth about 4 or 5 different plans of action with them. But it's important to keep in mind that they're not out to get you. Amazon is not out to get you. Yes, they're a very customer-centric, business, and that's something to keep in mind. Always make sure that the customer comes first, both on their end and your end, so that you guys are in the same boat and you're on the same team. But just remember that they're not out to get you. It's not personal. In a lot of ways, it's just somebody else on the other side of the computer that just needs to get through their quota, and you just have to give them, they want to do their job correctly. They want to do it right. You have to give them, literally the right plan of action. They're going to work with you, and that's something that they continue to say right here, for example. You will stay while we work with you to address the issue. So they're not out to get you. They're trying to help you get your account reinstated. All the person on the other side of the computer in India is worried about is this person a legit business that just got flagged and their account suspended and I need to reinstate them and they have a legitimate plan of action in place? Or are they, selling inauthentic products and scamming the system? There's one of two things, and they're just trying to figure you out. So make sure you stay professional and come with a plan of action. So if you stayed this long, I'm going to give you my plan of action right here, which we started with right here, right now. So basically how I responded, and this, obviously switched slightly here and there, 4 or 5 times because I kept responding back to their requests with more information and kind of switching mine around. So one of the things that I researched was kind of laying it out like this, and this was really helpful because it came off professional, and it basically kind of addressed the 3 things that they need. So initially when they sent it to me, they say you need a plan that explains the issue that caused the complaint, steps you've taken to resolve the complaint, and details on how you will prevent similar complaints in the future. So what I basically said was, I'm going to take you through the entire plan of action and why this worked. But like I said, if you're an online arbitrage student, make sure you just submit your invoices and you can avoid the suspension altogether. You're not doing anything wrong whatsoever. But with that being said, make sure that you have your invoices, make sure that you keep them so that when Amazon requests them, you can simply give them and you don't have to go through this hassle. So, because I probably lost a good $400 to $500 maybe roughly to, yesterday. I have a lot of products in my inventory and it's kind of annoying. But what I basically said, thank you for your response. Then I laid it out, root cause of the problem. Like they said, what caused it? The issue that caused the complaint. So the root cause of the problem for me was, I basically said I reviewed my account and suspect that Amazon questioned the authenticity of the products and suspended my seller account because I failed to provide the invoices showing proof of the purchases, basically, proving that I had authentic products and I did have, I was selling what I claimed to be selling. And then I listed the SINs. That was pretty straightforward. That was pretty simple. That's literally, that never changed for me from the first plan of action to the last plan of action. Now, where I did change slightly were in my immediate corrective actions and my corrective long-term actions. I believe the long-term actions was what they were basically looking for. Plans that you can, what they really want to know is, how can you avoid this in the future so it doesn't happen? So immediate corrective actions are basically the second thing, the steps that you've taken to resolve the complaint. So what I said was, I've created removal orders for all the items in question that were left in my inventory. So those 3 ASINs created removal orders and deleted their things, which is what I'm going to talk about next. I won't resubmit those into my inventory until I confirm, through this process that they are indeed authentic. And Amazon, obviously I know that they're authentic, but that's just what you have to play the game. You have to talk in Amazon terms. Basically, I'm saying, I won't resubmit them back into my inventory. I won't resell them until we go through this process and you tell me by removing, the suspension on my account that they are indeed authentic, and then I plan on reselling them. So I basically said I created removal orders for those ASINs. I closed the listings and I deleted. Don't just make them inactive. Literally delete them and create removal orders for them. I said I will not reopen them until I confirm that these products are authentic, just like last time. Then I went ahead and I said, we have not received any customer complaints or returns for these products, because I didn't. They were literally just the person bought them on purpose, trying to, at least for the first 2, I'm pretty sure, or positive. I'm not sure about the third one. They basically just bought them and then reported them as unauthentic just to be a dickhead, because they knew I was competing under their listing. And that's something that you're going to have to keep in mind when you're playing this game. People aren't going to take too lightly, to it. I don't fault them for doing it. It's business. It's kind of a sleazy move, but it's something you got to deal with. I've dealt with everything. So now suspension, I've dealt with, requesting invoices because I get reported all the time because people are annoyed that I'm selling under their listing. I also deal with people, giving me bad feedback when they know full-heartedly, that I haven't done anything wrong, or that they don't intend to give me bad feedback because they think I'm a bad seller. They intend to give me bad feedback because they're mad that I'm on their listing. They also try to review my products bad. So that I've literally seen it all. Amazon's a competitive marketplace, and these things happen, especially when you're doing online arbitrage or retail arbitrage. So just keep that in mind. But if you do everything right, and like I said, if you want the course that basically runs you through at the very, very end how to, avoid these types of things. But if you do get one of these, make sure you submit your invoices. That's crucial. But going back to the plan of action right here, I've been rambling for a while because I have a lot to talk about, but we're almost finished. So I haven't received any customer complaints or returns. If I do, I will issue an immediate refund and, for their money, and let them keep the product. So basically what that tells Amazon is I'm a serious seller. I care about the Amazon customer. I'm not out to just get one over on somebody and get their money. If anybody has the slightest complaint, I'll just refund their money. I don't want them to have a problem with me. I don't want them to have a problem with Amazon. I respect the Amazon customer. I'll just refund their money. Yes, you're going to get, and let them keep the product. And yes, you're going to get the occasional scam artist, but it's not worth your account. It's not worth, risking your account to just, you're going to sell many more products. I'd much rather, in my opinion, have the privilege of selling on Amazon than, potentially, yes, just dealing with the occasional scam artist. It happens. It's part of it. Happens on eBay too. It happens everywhere. Then finally, I said I obtained the invoices and I attached them obviously to the email that I sent them, which I had not done in the past because I literally, like we talked about initially, didn't think it was a big deal, and that show the products were authentic, and that was crucial for me. So make sure that you have the invoices. That's what they wanted to see initially. Then the corrective long-term changes to the business to prevent future issues is basically the third thing, and that's the details on how you prevent similar, listings, similar issues and complaints like this in the past. So basically I said I've established a more robust and organized system for keeping all invoices, which obviously I didn't need to say because, Amazon keeps them all. That's where I get them in my orders, and then I can print the invoices. Depending on where you're doing that, make sure that you're not just buying from a retail store. If you do, keep the receipts. They don't necessarily pass as invoices, but it can definitely help if if you outline it correctly. You just want to come off professional. You always want to keep receipts or proof of your purchase so that you can best show that you have the items that you're selling or claiming that you do. And then I said, where are we? We put our invoices in our filing system. Basically, you can read it. It's really simplistic. I didn't do any of this. I just said that I did. It just kind of basically was a plan of action that I was going to say that I was putting in place to kind of make sure that I avoid the initial issue of not having the invoices for Amazon in the future when they request them. And then I said I will continue to sell products that I'm confident are genuine. So basically what I'm saying there is, this is my plan of action. I'm not saying I did anything wrong because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't sell any inauthentic products. I didn't, make any mistakes like that. I'm not making counterfeit products. Neither are you if you're doing what I'm saying. You're well within the terms of service. However, I'm going to continue selling those things. You don't want to admit that you did anything wrong. That's crucial. That's one thing that if you go on the forums, if you go on a lot of different places, they're always going to tell you, just admit that you're at fault, take the blame, take the fall for it. Amazon wants to save face. Nobody's saying that you need to go in there and create a sob story and be like, and get somebody on the phone and get Jeff Bezos on your email and be like, the other seller is reporting me as inauthentic, and I don't think, they don't care. To be honest, they don't care. But what you do want to say is you don't want to admit fault. You want to stand your ground to a certain degree, but do it in a professional manner so that you're not basically accusing Amazon of having a fraudulent marketplace or something like that. But basically, this is subtly saying, listen, I know I'm selling authentic products. I'm not making anything inauthentic, and I will continue to sell products that I know are genuine and authentic. And then finally, I said I'll inspect every single unit for quality before I list them for sale. Blah blah blah. I'll follow up with customers and make sure they're 100% satisfied, and that if they have slight dissatisfaction. And then finally, I'll make sure, like with the third one, like I talked about, I listed it under the wrong condition and the wrong color. I'll make sure that the detail pages of the ASIN is 100% aligned in color, description, material, etc. That was the third problem. And then finally, I just said I take full responsibility. That's what they want to see. You take full responsibility. It's in here somewhere. I'm not going to read it. You can pretty much get, depending on where you are in this process, I'm sure you've seen that. But basically, you can read this. If any of you guys want this, I'll attach. I'll save this actually. If any of you guys want this, drop a comment down below and let me know, and I can either email it to you or so on and so forth. I'll figure out how to get it to you, whether that's on Dropbox, Google Drive, email, whatever. I'm sure that as the days and months go on, more and more people will find this video, and hopefully it will help you get through inauthentic product suspensions like I did. So for my online arbitrage sellers and all my Amazon sellers out there that are doing private labeling or anything like this, make sure that you save your invoices, and when you get your invoices requested, don't just turn a blind eye like I did. That's exactly where I went wrong. Make sure that you submit your invoices right away so Amazon doesn't think that you're up to no good, because obviously you're not, and you're buying authentic products and you're selling them under the right listings if you're doing everything like I talk about. And that's just something to keep in mind. So I don't want to see this happen to you. Hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and you don't have to deal with this because it's very stressful. And today's question is going to be, if you got suspended, what other methods, do you have diversity in your income streams is basically what I want to know. Are you attached to one income stream? So maybe you're watching this and you have 9 to 5. Maybe you're watching this and you only do online arbitrage. Maybe you're watching this and you only do private labeling. Do you have diversity in your income streams? And if not, where do you plan on going with your next income stream in the future? Because make sure that you want to diversify, and you definitely want passive income. That's what this entire channel is based upon. If I were just relying on Amazon, this would be a pretty big hit. If I couldn't get my account back up, and obviously I did, this would be a pretty big hit to my income, because it obviously is a big hit to my income, but because I make money in a lot of different other ways, it's not that big of a deal, but it's still stressful and annoying. So let me know in the comment section down below. Answer that question. Like the video. I hope this brings you a lot of value, not just for the online arbitrage sellers, but as a cautionary tale to avoid a suspension in the future. And obviously, if you got your account suspended and this plan of action helps you, then please hit that like button as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow.